Terrorism Prohibition and Prevention Act says I cannot be tried in Nigeria. That's the law of Nigeria. I can never be tried in any court of law in Nigeria. That's what the law says. Anybody standing in trial or coming to try me is a terrorist. That's what their law says. Not me.
As simple as that.
Section 2, subsection 3F of Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act. That's what it says. Any court considered to try me is committed an act of terrorism.
Yes.
Very clear. You cannot violate a treaty that Nigeria entered into and then come to try that very person. Is not done anywhere in the world. So you must be aware of that. So that is why there is all these ridiculous delays. That is what Supreme Court said. I did not jump bail. My home was invaded. They came to kill me and I survived. They came to Kenya to kidnap me, brought me back to this country and seeking to try me, which the law says cannot happen. You cannot violate a treaty that Nigeria entered into and then hope to stand on that illegality to conduct a trial. Is not done anywhere in the world. And happened in my case. Nobody has, there's no exception. No exception whatsoever. That's what the law says. Section 12 of the Constitution, what does it say? Any treaty ratified by Nigeria becomes law. It's law. You cannot change it. It doesn't matter what they do. All these shenanigans is just pure rubbish. You never stand. Not with me. I believe in justice and fairness, that's all.
Nigeria is signed to extradite, not to rendition.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on wherever you are watching us from. This is another edition of Politics on the Street. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our videos, share, comment for more political discourse. Yesterday, Justice Binta Nyako has refused to grant Nnamdi Kanu bail, and she has also refused to let Nnamdi Kanu, the IPOB leader, be remanded in custody. Rather, she has said that the leader of the IPOB should remain within the DSS facility, and we saw how Nnamdi Kanu was very eloquent in court and said that the Nigerian government has no constitutional right to try him. That his mom died at the process, and then DSS tried to kill him. That was why he evaded arrest. How can you react to that, sir?
Yes, thank you for having me. What you saw yesterday that actually played out was as a result of what I will call, cultivation of judicial terrorism and breeding of rascality from Nigerian judicial system with impunity. That's what I can say to that. With honesty. If you look at what transpired yesterday and the kind of bravery is beaten within the court premises by no other person by the maximum leader of IPOB, talking about Nnamdi Kanu, the IPOB leader. You can see how he was able to lead the entire federal government delegates and of course the Nigerian judiciary to reality. He led them by the nose. He put them through what the law says about himself. He led them by the treaties of which the federal government and Nigerian government entered, which they violated, with their eyes quite open. So what does that tell you? It tells you that there's a kind of understanding that exists now, and people are looking at it from the different perspectives. The whole world, including the international community, we are amazed with a lot of reservation on how a noble profession called law has been ridiculed to an extent that people no longer have regard for the Nigeria judicial operations in Nigeria. Remember, just a few days before now, Obi also made a similar comment in that regard, where he said that Nigerian judiciary is money induced. And what we're seeing today, is the jihadist, Islamic occupied Nigerian judiciary trying to use that influence, to muzzle down the symbol, of Christianhood in the country today. So, as a matter of fact, we will not be taking that into consideration, but we're looking at, the consequences of continued detention of Nnamdi Kanu in that regard. So the fact is this, Nnamdi Kanu has called the process of retrial as without due process, as judicial terrorism, you know, and anybody who asks him to face trial based on what is on ground without looking at how he was brought back to Nigeria by illegal means should have his head re-examined. So kudos to Nnamdi Kanu, you know, for that beautiful outing yesterday. You know, he entered the door. You know, he's not afraid of telling the truth, and he spoke the truth to the world. And the people are beginning to ask questions. The international community reacted. You know, of course, the U.S. government also made references to what happened there yesterday. You know, that tells you that another angle of it is that at the end of the day, they are planning to use Supreme Court against Nnamdi Kanu, but that is not going to work.
But I do feel that Justice Binta Nyako is being biased, and she's working for a particular set of people. Because via the Constitution, you know, it is a fundamental human right. Nnamdi Kanu has the fundamental human right for him not to stay long within the DSS facility. Don't you think she's been influenced by some set of people to make sure that Nnamdi Kanu is being kept within the DSS facilities?
If you look at what Binta Nyako was trying to, you know, push towards that direction, you will read meaning of, you know, conquest into it. You will read meaning of jihadist, you know, elements, you know, within the judiciary who are bet not to follow the due process, and that was why Nnamdi Kanu said they are terrorists. You see, when you refuse to go through the normal process of, you know, of judgment or deciding a case of that nature, then you are going through the back door. But let me even ask Binta Nyako, what as Billy said did, sorry. Let me ask Binta Nyako what actually he or she feels if he's in a position of danger and a gun is being pointed at her or at him, and he has a means of running away to save his life. Are you telling me that someone like Binta Nyako will stand and take bullets, you know, coming from stupid jihadist attack? Are you telling me he will or she will? You escape. Then why are you not using such thing against Nnamdi Kanu that Nnamdi Kanu would have stayed and take Islamic bullets invasion in his house, and then it will mean that he did not jump in. He will stand and be killed. Is there any rationality in what Binta Nyako is trying to say in that regard? I think a point is getting to a point, you know, the whole world, you know, should begin to call Nigeria to order. And I want to say kudos to the United States of America for making references to the continued illegality of keeping Nnamdi Kanu in DSS custody without following due process. And of course, Nigeria and Kenya has a treaty that Nigeria was signatory to, and that made it even impossible for them to even try Nnamdi Kanu based on that.
But lastly, before I let you go now, why do you think that Nnamdi Kanu said because of what happened that his mother was killed as that process? That was why he had to flee, and DSS had intentions of killing him.
If you look at the process that was, you know, the aftermath of that invasion, where over 28 people, Biafrans, you know, led their lives right inside the compound of Nnamdi Kanu. It was quite traumatic for the parents, you know, and of course that led to their call to glory, you know. So the fact is this: Nnamdi Kanu has always maintained the stand that why is it Nigerians, government, judiciary are not looking from that perspective. It's just of what is happening in between Hamas and Israel today, you know, where the International Criminal Court has issued a warrant of arrest. But when the extremists, the Hamas, the Iranist militants, they are killing Jews in Israel, the whole world, we are looking another direction. Why is it that the whole world is not looking at the plight of what the way and manner they are trying to manipulate the truth against Nnamdi Kanu, either he bail or he jump bail. Nnamdi Kanu never jump bail. I don't know why the Nigerian media are not reporting the correct thing. Nnamdi Kanu came under military Islamic attack. And he had to, escape those bullets. So, Peter Yak, are you saying that Nnamdi Kanu would have stood and take bullets before you know that he is due for a bail, to be granted bail? What does that mean?
So do you think that because Sunday Igboho was charged of the same treasonable offense, Abiola Onitire, who invaded the Oyo State, committed the same atrocity? So why do you think Nnamdi Kanu case is quite different? Sunday Igboho is working free now. Abiola Onitire too, she is working free. Why is it that the government is still holding on to Nnamdi Kanu? Do you think it is some passive hatred against some region, against a particular tribe?
Of course, you are not going to definitely rule that out. There has been reservation about that. I'm making references to what Omoleye Sowore said. It was very clear. Sowore said it that the hatred they have for Igbos is in their DNA. But let us see how that is going to subsequently unveil at the end of the day, because Nnamdi Kanu is being seen as a best setter on how to champion liberation, on how to champion self-determination. He's been copied by others, so you cannot relate what Abiola Onitire did in Ibadan or what the boy is doing with the level Nnamdi Kanu has attained as one of the freedom fighters who runs the largest movement in the world. So at this point in time now, we are going to see it as a way of trying to make sure that the consciousness of every Igbo man is not in custody, and that is where we are taking it from.
The consciousness of every woman is not in custody. Thank you. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our videos, share, comment for more political discourse.